Alright, so let's go back to this problem I was working on in the last video. It was just 2x plus 3, and I was wanting to know what it was when I squared it. So when I square it, I actually look at this line right here, this 1, 2, 1. I'm going to write down 1, 2, 1. That's what I'm going to look at. I multiply 2x to the second times 3 to the 0 by 1. Now what's going to happen is this exponent is going to decrease and this exponent is going to increase when I move the 2. So now I have 2 times 2x to the first times 3 to the first plus the other one. This exponent is going to decrease to a 0. This exponent is going to increase to a 2. So 1 times 2x to the nothing, 3 to the second. Kind of interesting, huh? All right, let's go do the math over here. That's a 1. 2x all squared is 4x squared. 3 to 0 is a 1. Plus 2x to the first is 2x times 2 is 4x. And I have 3 to the first. That's going to be at 12, isn't it? Moving on. 2x to 0 is 1. 3 squared is 9. So I have 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. Now, I don't know if you watched the second video or if you watched, which is a big deal, the first video. Now you understand. If you didn't watch the first video, you don't understand what just happened. Plain and simple. That's how binomial theorem works. So I'm going to do a couple more examples of this one. And I might have to actually expand this thing out. Let's do something with a negative in it because negatives always throw off kids. Let's do something like 2x minus 7. That's a big number. 2x minus 3 to the 7th power. Wow. Because Pascal's triangle starts off at the 0th power, we have to actually use the 8th row. We have to use the 8th row of the triangle. I don't know how many rows I went down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got lucky. All right. So I write down my 1. I multiply it by 2x to the 7th. All of it gets to the 7th. Times a negative 3 to the 0. And then I move on. The next constant in the triangle is a 7. The 2x gets raised to the 6th power. The negative 3 is now to the 1st. I move on in my triangle. I encounter a 21. The 2x is now down to the 5th, but the negative 3 has risen to the 2nd. I keep moving on. I encounter a 35. 2x is now to the 4th, and the negative 3 is cubed. Move on with my life. Another 35. The 2x is now cubed, and the negative 3 is now to the 4th power. Man, I wish I'd have done this horizontally. So I'm at the 21 plus 21. The 2x is now squared. The negative 3 is now 5th. Plus 7. The 2x is now to the 1st. The negative 3 is now to the 6th. And the last one is I'm done. Plus 1. The 2x is now to the 0th power. And the negative 3 is to the 7th power. Notice how we start at 7, stop at 0, start at 0, stop at 7, 7th degree polynomial. Now I do a bunch of evaluation. In years past, I've noticed that's where kids get lost. Like, what happened? I figured crap out. That's what happened. Heck, that's all you got to do. So think about your coefficients. I have a 1. I have a 2 to the 7th. There's 128. X to the 7th there. I have a negative 3 to 0. That's a 1. moving on with my life. Plus, here I have 2 to the 6th. I have to multiply that by a -3, and I have to multiply that by 7. -1344 x to the 6th. Moving on with my life. I have a 21, I have a 2 to the 5th power, and I have a -3 that is squared. Positive 6048. So plus 6048. Do a little near math here, that's x to the 5th. Moving on with my life. Now I'm at the 35. There's a 2 to the 4th power, which I know is 16. I'm not being lazy. I'm just showing you how to push buttons, I guess. -15,120. What, x to the 4th? Just looking up. Moving on again. I'm at this 35. 2 cubed, which would be 8, times -3 to the 4th power, which would be a positive 81. Screwed up there, didn't I? Let me delete all this. -3, close parentheses. There we go. 22,680. X cubed. Now I'm down here at the 21. 21 times a 2 that's squared times a -3 to the 5th power, a -20,412 x to the 2nd power. Almost done. 7 times 2 times a -3 to the 6th plus 10,206 x. And finally, plus, and it's actually going to be negative, we have a 2 to the 0, we have a 1, we have a 2 to the 0 if you need to type it in, and we have a -3 to the 7th. -2187. That is the quickest way to figure out what 2x minus 3 times itself 7 times is by hand. Just use Pascal's triangle. So anyways, let's clean this all up. First thing we had was 128x to the 7th. Then we have take away 1,344x to the 6th. Add 6,048x to the 5th. Take away 1,520x to the 4th. Add to it 22,680x cubed. Take away 20,412x squared. Add 10,266x, and then take away 2187. Fun stuff right there. It's not hard though. It's really not. Tedious? Yeah, I'd call it tedious. That's your lesson on Pascal's triangle. Not hard. Do a couple of them. You'll get pretty good at it. Don't try and do it all in your head. Please don't. I'm going to scan through that lesson to make sure that's all that's in it. If I run across some problems, I'll add to this video.